So originally I planned to have like a basic introduction at the start of this video about who Bring Me the Horizon are and all that sort of stuff, but then I questioned why you'd even be watching this if you don't know who they are. You'd be so confused, and I am not going to give you all the context you need. Google exists, please use it. So, in 2006, Bring Me the Horizon released their debut album, Count Your Blessings. Now, this was at the time described as like a sort of deathcore album, and even now, I'd say most people would probably still describe it as such. And throughout their career, they continue to evolve their sound and change over the years, which I think not only shows their growth as musicians, but also shows like how innovative they can be. Like no matter your opinion on the band, the fact that they can do so many different genres so well definitely says quite a lot about their like talent. So now in the year of 2026, they've decided to re-record and remaster and reissue the original album. Now, in my opinion, it sucks. And I'm not just talking about the new one, I mean the old one as well. I feel like it was one of the first sort of sounds from that time to do something like that, but purely because he's one of the first does not by any means that he's one of the best. There are much better bands from that time doing similar things. There's Despise Icon, Suicide Silence, Job for a Cowboy, just to name a couple. All of those have aged so much clearer and better than this album has. Now, I don't think it's completely dire. I don't think it's without its qualities and like, you know, highlights here and there, but I don't think the level that people hold it to is nearly as good as what it actually is. I think one of the aspects for me that hasn't aged very well at all is the lyricism. I think a lot of the lines are made somewhat for shock value, but also just to sound kind of quite edgy, but they come across as so try-hard and not authentic at all. Like, she starts her new diet of liquor and dick, just like Hollywood, but laced and sick. The sun goes down, and so does she. Like, wow, it's pretty interesting. It's quite something that is. They have progressed so much, and I think there are albums that are far more interesting than this. I feel like Suicide Season is a step up from Count Your Blessings in near every way. The songwriting, the song structure, the pacing of the album, the way that it's like structured, I think just everything is just like fine lined so much clearer, and you can tell that they not only became more comfortable with their instruments but also more skilled in their ability. And I think songs like the self-titled track, Suicide Season, It Was Written in Blood, songs like those, I feel like hold up to a much higher standard than stuff from their first album. And even in their later years, I think they consistently made pretty decent songs. From Ammo, I think, is a underappreciated and also overhated album. It's not particularly close to like anything they were doing in their early years. However, there's just some pretty decent tracks on that one. I feel like Sugar Honey Iced Tea, I don't know what to say, pretty decent songs on that one. Even Sempiternal, obviously everyone knows Sempiternal. There's some underrated songs on that one, like Empire, Let Them Sing. Their most recent albums, I think Dear Diary's good, from Posthuman Survival Horror. Next Gen I didn't care for as much, but even that has some good songs. I quite enjoyed songs like Dark Side, for example. And from That's the Spirit, I think Doomed, particularly like the Royal Albert Hall live version, is excellent and like one of the best things they've ever written. I don't think that their heavy stuff is inherently their best whatsoever. I feel like in some ways it was almost holding them back, and the people that were constantly clamoring to the old sound that the band had almost didn't really care that it was Bring Me the Horizon or what they were doing artistically. They just wanted loud, bangy noise. And I hate to say it, but there are so many loud, heavy bands that were doing it so much better then and since then. And so constantly clamoring on about the fact that you want them to be heavy again is just inherently stupid and selfish. Like, they haven't been that band in a long time, and I don't think they should revert back to that. And unfortunately, there's a loud a minority of the fan base that are like that are just eating all this stuff up, being like, oh my god, they're finally heavy again. Like, shut up. Like, just listen to actual deathcore, like, and good deathcore. Why are you listening to this? Now, that goes without saying as well. There are a lot of fan bases that kind of regurgitate the same jokes over and over again. And one that I've noticed with a certain group of Bring Me the Horizon fans is they will make a video, like a TikTok, a reel, whatever, being like, it'll be a transition from Follow You into, yeah, like Dehumanized or like something like that, and being like, oh, these new age fans when they go to Bring Me the Horizon concert, and it's like, my guy, that's the Spirit came out over 10 years ago in 2015. That's the Spirit came out over 10 years ago, and you're still making this joke. And it's like, you do realize that they've made a lot of music since then, and like, that's not even necessarily their like most accessible stuff. It's not quite what you think it is, and I feel like a lot of it is almost these millennial fans just kind of like trying to one up the younger generation for no real reason, just because they like want to, I guess. They were very popular with the young generation and kind of always have consistently sort of made music for that crowd. Now, that's not inherently a bad thing at all. And I think the way that they have evolved their sound to try and make it appealing to various different groups of younger people is quite impressive. And it's good to see that they have actually evolved over their career. Now, a basic introduction to my relationship with the band, I never really cared for them. I didn't know about them at all until I hit about 15. Then I started listening to more and more alternative music. I got into heavier and heavier stuff. And then when I was, say, 16, I think I checked out Throne for the first time. That all goes without saying that I just feel that the Count Your Blessings era of the band is incredibly overhyped, not particularly interesting. And this re-recording, I mean, it's fair enough, it's whatever. It doesn't really mean much to me. I don't care for the band that much anymore. I don't really follow them that much. But like, when you are one of the most talked about and known bands in the heavy scene, it's kind of hard not to have an opinion, especially as someone who used to be quite a big fan. I, discovered them through Throne, through That's the Spirit era of the band, and people like to shit on that a lot, but it helped people like me not only get into them, but also like heavier music from there. And I can definitely respect a lot of the work that they have, but this new album really does nothing for me. I think if they're to do a re-recording of Suicide Season, I guess I'd probably listen to it, but like, something about the sound of the original, it's like, it has a certain quality that adds to it, the fact that it's not too overproduced. And Bring Me the Horizon, their heavy stuff as of recent has felt very flat to me because it is so heavily produced and just overly mixed. And so personally, it doesn't particularly interest me too much. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the whole situation. I could definitely sort of talk further about Bring Me the Horizon, about like my opinions on them, if that is something that interests the viewers of this video. This is the first sort of video on my channel, so I am just starting out with experimenting of video and editing and stuff like that, so any feedback is appreciated, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you later.